Boom. What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 50 of the VR Link. My name's GT, and this is your weekly Sunday service VR podcast that gives you and us a chance to sit back and discuss some of the latest news and games and goings on in virtual reality. Allow me to introduce this week's co-hosts. We've got Salsa from Salsa Ketchup VR.
Hello, everyone.
We've got Dane from Get to the Chopper VR.
I am back.
And we've got Oculus Quest specialist Matt, aka BMF.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, my tongue's all twisted today.
How you doing, man? You all right? Thank you for joining us today, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I can see the chat's excited to have you here, man. It's really good.
A lot of awesome people.
Yeah, man, yeah. For those of you on the move or just prefer audio podcasts, you can listen again via Spotify and Anchor. Just search the VR Link podcast or use the links in the description. Each and every week, I want to thank the amazing backbone patrons of the channel, patrons and channel members whose names are listed below each and every week. If you're looking for ways to join these timeless VR legends, please check the links in the description and while you're there, please check out our community Discord. So I hope everyone has had a good week. I keep looking to the left because that's where my camera normally is, but it's here because I was playing Euro Truck Simulator. So if I'm looking at nothing when I look over there, it's just a habit. You're here. Yeah, so let us know in the chat what you've been playing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting that like button, and thank you for joining us each and every week. Really appreciate it. And while we go through what we've been playing this week, and now I can take this bloody thing off. So yeah, let's go with you, South. What have you been up to this week, man?
I've been trying to get a little bit better at Automobilista 2 and really dig into that. And there was an update to that yesterday. They're on their sort of like final leg towards release. So we're on 0.9.6. So it's getting there, really getting there. And it was exciting for me. What can I say? It's getting there.
It was exciting for me.
Nipple
it is. It's great fun when you're in there. The V8s. A lot of work's been done on the V8s. Really hard cars to drive.
Yeah. And
I think anybody who jumps into that is going to have some good fun with those cars because they can be very scary when you try to race them.
Oh, nice.
All over the place, skidding out the back end on those when you're, side by side. Good fun.
Everyone loves a bit of skids from the back end. How you doing, JD? You all right, man? So he is now a GT team member. Thank you. Team player, thanks, man. Thanks for being part of the club. Thank you, dude. Thank you. So, yeah, Chopper, what have you been up to this week, man? What have you been playing?
Yeah, so obviously I've not been here for the past 2 weeks. So I want to run through some of the stuff I was playing. I finished off Lies Beneath at last. I've been meaning to get around to that. That's such a wicked game. I love that to pieces, man. That is one of the best Quest games for sure. Okay,
so some of the people I know and talk to about this stuff do not agree with that at all.
What, Lies Beneath?
They're like, I don't know, like they almost think I'm strange for the amount of praise I give it. Do you know what I mean?
But why? I have seen some people saying, it's not all that. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what else you could want for a game like that.
I know, yeah.
You got like multiple different weapons you can get. It's got different difficulties, which normally you don't really care about. You got normal, easy, hard. You just play on normal most times, right? But on this one, it's bloody hard on normal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like on hard. I'm not even going to attempt that.
Yeah.
It's got scare bits, but not too many. It's not scripted with the scares really, apart from like one or two. Yeah, I just loved it. I think it was wicked. I think the story I was interested in for a bit, and then it kind of fell off a bit because I was like, I don't even know what's going on now.
Yeah, you kind of forget. It's weird. I was still loving the game because sometimes games really need story to drive you. But yeah, I actually forgot about the story, to be honest with you. It felt like it was me trying to survive a horror experience, and that was it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's one that I still want to play as well, but I want to finish other stuff before I play that one because it looks like one that's going to be scary as all hell. So I'm probably going to play that, I think, once I've moved into my own place and I can scream my head off and not disturb anyone.
Once you're all by yourself, not
safe.
like
That's the time to play a horror.
If you want full immersion, open your front door, leave it wide open so you know it's open, and then play the game with the headset on.
Thank
You know
you
what?
for this
You know-
advice.
You know
And
what would
just
be crazy?
thank you to Memphis as well,
Oh,
by the way.
yeah.
There.
Oh,
We gotta do
so we got to do the super chat.
Roll film, man.
He says salsa more salsa.
There she is. Thank you ever so much for the donation. Yeah, Matt, you was going to say something, dude.
Oh, I was just gonna say, with Lies Beneath, I agree with you guys. I think it's a stellar game. It's really, really cool. But just you were talking about leaving the door open, and I think that what would be really cool is I have a space outside of my backyard now, where it's open but it's covered.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
Yeah, can you? It would be pretty creepy if you were outside playing that game because a lot of it takes place outside. So the winds,
Yeah,
blowing
yeah.
a lot of the
Wow.
winds blowing around you, and I mean that would just be a total different level.
That's real cool immersion. That's really gonna have it there, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you get like a strong breeze of wind, just flick up the leaves and sort of like whoosh, and you go, "Wah!"
Yeah.
The thing,
You know,
uh,
that's got to be genius, worth it.
another thing I think about, like doing streaming as well and making content and stuff, is you've got to try and keep up with what's new. And certain games I don't want to move on from. And Lies Beneath was one of those games. Same as Saints and Sinners. I just wanted to, like, regardless if I'm filming or not, I want to play it. So yeah, that's how much I love Lies Beneath. Oh, we've got more. Skeever, thank you
We've
ever
got
so
more.
much for the donation.
Too good, man. Too good.
Blessed,
a lot.
blessed be the salsa. Yeah.
Oh,
Did you finish Lies Beneath? Has anyone finished Lies Beneath?
I haven't finished it. I couldn't make it through it. I'm a wuss.
It's hard, mate. Actually, gameplay-wise, there's some really tough parts in that. Really
There is,
tough
yeah.
parts. Yeah, for sure. Have you finished it, Dane?
Yeah. That I literally just came back to finish it in the past like week or so. I was like, right, I need to get on this. I need to get through it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really good, really good. But yeah, it's bloody tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else did I play? I played a bit of Ninja Legends, and that's a little bit of an old one, but that's coming to PSVR. I don't know when. I don't know if they've announced a date, but I know it's coming
that
soon.
is an old one, yeah.
But yeah, I randomly got that come through. So I played a bit of that. That's a workout, I tell you. That does make you sweat.
It's actually an alright
It's fairly
game.
simplistic in
It's
the
quite
game.
a good game,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's good fun, but it's like
Yeah.
fairly simplistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pro Putt, I really like that actually. I really like that.
Pro
I
Pass
like
Pro
excellent.
I've been playing
Yeah.
that. I just love the physics of like being able to bounce it off all manner of random objects in the environment. I tried Slender Man, which is on Sidequest.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it was
it's-
absolutely terrible.
Isn't it called like the unofficial Slender Man? or
Yeah, it's from like obviously an older version of the game or something, but it's like it runs at like 5 frames per second, and you can't see anything. Super grainy. It's so dark.
something? Spectrum.
I tried to play it, and I was like, and I was scared at first because you literally couldn't see anything. It was just like pure black fog, and I was like, shit, what's gonna happen? Nothing happened.
And then you realise the game hadn't loaded properly.
Yeah, I was like, this is just not great, so I gave that up. What else did I play? I finished off Walking Dead, which is obviously awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely in the top 10, maybe top 5 PSVR games.
Yeah.
Again, the physics are what make that game, and the survival aspects very,
Yeah.
very cool, very well balanced.
I think Skydunt's done an amazing job on that. Like,
Yeah,
amazing.
It's definitely in the top of VR experiences. We all know that among a certain core of other games, that's one of the go-tos if you want to know what VR now should be like and some of what to expect of the future and what's to come.
Yeah.
definitely, man. What else did I play? Like you mentioned, actually, I think that was before the show started. Car parking simulator on Sidequest. I did have fun with that, but it's fairly straightforward. They're going to add a load more content to it because at the moment I think it's $10, and I don't think I would pay that.
Oh,
for
you
what
were given
get
a
out
key
of
for
to
it.
be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I got a key free from the developer. And I did have fun with it, like I said, but I don't think there's enough there yet to justify that price.
I actually did
even
look at it on
pretty cheap.
Sidequest because I saw your video and I thought,
Yeah.
shall I check it out? And yeah, I didn't want to pay a tenner for it or $10 to be honest. Like if it
Yeah.
had been like 3 or 4, maybe 5, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
then it would have been fine. And to be honest, the thing that drew me to it is you got like the floating blue hands that look like hand tracking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I got to try this out. And then I messaged the developer, he's like, it's not hand tracking. I was like, oh man.
Oh, is it
But he said
not?
no, it's not hand tracking.
Oh, I thought
it's,
it
it's the
was.
controllers.
Oh, I'd have been
Um,
really gutted then. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
exactly. Because I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it definitely looks like hand tracking.
Yeah.
The way that kind of image looks. But he's looking to add that at some point, but who knows when.
Yeah.
Quest Doom I played, so the classic Doom in VR, again through Sidequest.
Oh, yeah.
That was wicked. Absolutely loved that to pieces.
Mhm.
Gorn, Predator Hunting Grounds, flat game, I know, but I had to, which is a bit of a good laugh. And then I think that's it, really, which is quite a lot. Iron Man demo, I obviously played that in between the last couple of shows. And yeah, I think I gave my thoughts in the chat when I missed the.
Tell us
the
again,
last
though.
show,
Tell
but
us again. Did it live up to your
yeah,
expectations, or?
It didn't meet my expectations. I was disappointed. Again, a part of that's going to be down to how much hype was around it, how much I was looking forward to it, all that sort of stuff. But I just didn't. I didn't get the sense of speed, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like in a flying game, that's what I always look forward to. That sense of motion, that sense of speed. I didn't get that at all with Iron Man. Maybe a little bit when you're really close to the water, but definitely not in the whole action sequence in the air. I didn't feel it at all. Also, the kind of verticality of the levels, like how high and how low you can go, seemed very limited.
Right.
Like before, I was going to go, right, I want to rock it up, and then it go, you know, you've hit an invisible ceiling now.
Yeah, it's
and
not like a
weapons I felt-
sandbox, is it? It's not like an open world or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't expect it to be humongously. I mean, it just seemed it seemed to stop a lot sooner than I thought it would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't go to that point where the suit is going to freeze up and you go
Well, yeah, I didn't
falling,
necessarily
plummeting to the ground.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
stuff like
megaton
that.
rainfall or anything like that, which is an awesome game. But yeah, and again, I felt the weapons felt a little bit weak.
Right.
I don't know. What it made me think of was that whole plane sequence. I was like, oh yeah, I was excited, and then it made me think of Blood and Truth, and I was like, I was having way much more fun and way more excitement from Blood and Truth, the kind of set pieces in that, and that kind of that was where my mind kind of went with it, because it was like a big epic action sequence. You're involved in it, and I was like, I much prefer the ones in Blood and Truth. It made me want to play Blood and Truth, as random as that is, because I was like, I mean, loved all the action sequences in that.
It's a different thing as well, because for anybody who sees Iron Man, a lot of people always go, "Oh, well, it's on rails," and it isn't. It's completely the opposite to Blood and Truth. And loads of people with Blood and Truth, well, some people specifically will go, "Well, I wish it wasn't on rails."
Yeah.
And it's odd that you say, "Well, I preferred that on rails through Blood and Truth to off the rails with Iron Man."
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I did like flying about, and I think how they implemented the PSVR tracking is done really, really well. It was just,
are you going to buy it?
I didn't enjoy that freedom.
Are you
going to
buy it? Do you think?
I don't know, man.
Because at the end of the day, like it's one of those games. It's a full price game. You're either buying it for the channel or you're buying it for yourself. So
yeah, at this point, I wouldn't buy it for myself. I'd wait to see what other people. I'd wait to see some more gameplay to see if it expands, because I know it's got kind of a new suits and upgrades kind of elements to it, not like a full-on RPG or anything like that. And I'm wondering if maybe as you progress with the suits, you feel a bit faster, your weapons feel a bit more powerful, that sort of thing. So some of the things I didn't enjoy. I'm not sure if it's going to change as you go through the game.
I'm on the pre-ordered camp. Is everybody else on the pre-ordered? Or
I'm not on the pre-ordered camp, but I will buy it. Yeah, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I will.
Thanks to Monkified as well for the £2.
Super chat time. Sorry.
Goal!
Thank you ever so much.
I could hear that in the background.
Cheers. Thank you, man. Sorry, Matt, you were saying about Iron Man.
Oh, I was just gonna say I want to play it. I still haven't played the demo, primarily because my space sucks to set up the PSVR. That's the biggest hindrance for me. I love Iron Man, and comic book shirts is my thing for my channel. I'm always wearing a comic book shirt, so I'm obsessed with comics and anything that has to do with it.
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to play it, but I can't bring myself to rearrange all of my furniture to be able to play PSVR, which is just what I'd have to do. So it's really bothering me because I want to play it, but then again, of course, I've also got an original PS4 that sounds like a jet engine when you turn it on because the fans are so loud.
Man,
that would go really well with that aeroplane level.
That would work fine with Iron Man. Of course, you do need a good amount of space with Iron Man, because it does a really good job at allowing you, if you've got the camera set up right, it does a really good job of allowing you to turn around a lot more than you normally would.
Yeah. BMF is on a break. He did put a video out saying he's on a break, but he's come to chill out and chat.
Yeah. This isn't work. This is just fun and hanging with friends.
But yeah. So I personally am really looking forward to playing more Iron Man. I am worried about the gameplay length. I am also, funny enough, you brought up about upgrades. I don't think there's going to be any weapon upgrades. I don't think there's going to be anything like that.
Come on.
I don't think so. But when you mentioned the speed and stuff, I really actually enjoyed flying around. I mean, I remember when I played the demo, I was really gutted that first thing I wanted to do was smash into the water and then come up. And it just went dong against the floor.
I'm still sort of like, I think they're going to bring out the different suits.
No,
I still sort of like...
Yeah, I do think they'll bring different suits, yeah.
I think that's where they could maybe do an underwater bit, because there is a specialist underwater Iron Man suit.
No. But... Yeah, if it's,
you never know.
If they they might charge like £1 per suit for DLC or something. And
I'm sure more than that, to be honest. But
but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
There are, yeah, this is the thing. Like, if it was more of that, the same from the demo, I would not want to play anymore.
I loved the plane
scene.
Fair. I really did. I thought it was brilliant. I did.
I don't know, man. Again, I don't know if there is any difference between the OG and the Pro, where maybe there was more elements and particles, if that makes sense, that give that sense of things moving past you or something like that. And this is something we've like brought up before in some other games as well, OG versus Pro.
Yeah.
But again, for me, I was just like, I don't feel like I'm zooming along the sky. I'm not getting closer to the ground or anything. The environment stayed static as I was moving around.
Yeah.
I got closer or further away from the plane, but that was it. Anyway.
I get it, man. I get it. And it's funny, Matt brings up the sound of his PlayStation because I can hear my son's PlayStation through both floors of the house.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is crazy loud. My Pro doesn't really make that sound. And when you search it online, a lot of people say the Pro is really loud. But
my Pro, when you play something like Gran Turismo, that would just whirl up like nobody's business as soon as you...
I would say his PlayStation is louder than our Hoover.
Yeah, my PlayStation is so loud that you have a hard time hearing the gameplay when you're actually playing the PlayStation.
Wow, this game sounds amazing.
That is when you really, really need to actually open up the PlayStation and get the Hoover in there to get all the dust out.
I have actually got to help him out, yeah. So, Matt, what have you been playing this week, dude?
It's been kind of like a sporty week for me because I played a lot of Pro Putt. I really like that game. We obviously both have played the game, and I know your thoughts on it. I think you like it a lot. I jumped on your live stream, and it's a lot of fun.
Definitely.
And I've been playing a lot of that, playing it outside, like I mentioned, underneath my little tent that makes it even better because you get the wind whirling around you as you're standing outside.
That must be awesome.
Oh yeah, that is really cool. And then I've been playing bowling. Which was
just one quick question on the golf side.
Yeah.
Did you actually have a golf club that you like taped your controller to or anything like that?
I considered that, but my clubs are in storage, so I don't have them right now. But I am going to try that as soon as I have it.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I was doing that and bowling, and then really just messing around. I played some of the new the Wizards Dark Times game. That was pretty cool. I want to jump back into that one. That was cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I've done this week has been experimenting with different things for upcoming stuff, like the Pro Tubes. I can't remember what it's called now.
The Force Tube.
Force Tube. Yeah, I've been playing with that.
Yeah.
The contractors playing with that, and doing some stuff with some of their sample stuff. There's not a lot you can do with the Quest with that yet. So, but I just been messing around with that. That's really it. It's been kind of a light week for me. I've done a lot of stuff I wanted to play this week, which was Pro Putt and bowling.
Yeah, nice. Man. I mean, we're going to deep dive into the. I'm looking at the corner again where no one is. We're going to deep dive into the bowling in a little while because obviously I'm interested to share my thoughts on that one. What did I do this week? I played some Pro Putt Golf multiplayer with Nathy. He contacted me. He wanted to play some of that. Then I jumped in with Premium Bowling with your man Matt. Then the same Wizards Dark Times, another discussion we're going to have. And then I checked out Half-Life Alyx Workshop, done 3 levels of that, another discussion. And then, I played some Euro Truck Simulator. So what we got going on in chat, guys? What has everyone been playing in the chat? Thank you for being here, by the way, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. What have we got? JD Max. He's obviously been doing some sim racing of some sort.
Yeah, and apparently his PS4 actually helps him to sleep. The jet engine sound is so soothing. Soothing.
I'd hate that,
Smoothing?
dude. Smoothing. I knew you
Yeah.
meant.
Just a random missaying from me. Sorry, I will speak properly in future.
Nice. Boy Brown says Lies Beneath is a great game. That's excellent. I'm glad to hear that. It is a very good game. 7 Degrees of Gaming, Nat, who used to be on the show, he said Lies Beneath when he realised his eyes were knackered. It must have been quite a hard time because the graphics in that are like cell shaded. He must have been thinking like, hold on a minute.
Yep.
Pavlov and Contractors are both on sale on Steam, below £8 each, and that's something we was going to bring up anyway, wasn't it, Matt? You wanted you saying it had cross-platform now with the recent update?
Yep. Yeah, Contractors added cross-platform with I guess there's a lot more people in there now. Somebody said that there was so many people in there that it was really easy to find a match now, which is good.
Yeah, I saw that.
We were just saying the Contractors beta on Quest as well, so because they just released a new beta for Quest the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what he was just saying.
Yeah. The only thing that they did change is they've removed scopes from the Quest version.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which kind of sucks because it's nice to be able to actually use a scope, but apparently they've removed that because it can't handle 2 screens at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got some recorded footage, and I don't think, funny enough, I don't think it's from a player. I think it's down to Oculus Q&A, because at the end of the day, when I was playing it, I did notice the frame drop, but it's kind of like, if you don't get VR sickness or anything, you don't mind it. It's like playing a real game, bit of frame drop, carry on. But yeah, I mean, it's got to stay at that 70 frames, isn't it? Or whatever, 72 frames.
Yeah, to be able to get onto the store, you got to stay right at 72, I guess. We can't go any lower at all.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they're like nipping it in the bud now, and maybe do some testing more in the background to come back. Dark says he's got 0 interest in Iron Man. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Boy Brown, are people looking forward to Phantom Covert Ops? Hell yeah. You got
Yes.
Yes, I definitely am.
What are you all picking it up on? Because obviously, I know Matt's going to go Quest, obviously. No stupid question. And obviously, Dane's going to go Quest because he's only got the PSVR or the Quest. What about you, Salsa? What are you going on? What system?
Well, can you do the cross buy on that or not?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
See, it may be releasing when I get the index, so we're going to have to see on that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But
man.
there is possible still, delays at the moment around that. So I was hoping that I think it should be due maybe next week or the week after, when my wait in the queue should be over. But we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, you said there was like an 8-week thing, wasn't it?
There was an 8-week queue that they put you into.
Yeah.
But they've already got a blah, blah, blah because of the virus situation.
Oh, I got you.
It's impacting on their ability to deliver.
Absolutely, yeah. Monkfire said he'd done 15 hours in 2 days on Euro Truck Simulator, and after last night playing it, dude, I can see why. I got on. I got on a ferry. I was using like Eurostar. I was going all over Europe, man. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And the best thing about it is, you can use real-world radio stations in games. There is a Trucker FM. There's like Radio 1 from here, Radio 2, all that stuff. It's insane. Like, that can actually add so much to the experience and immersion. It was really cool. Grimwoody, so Mick's been playing Wizard Dark Times. Nice, Grimwoody. He's been doing Ori, using Vorpex. If the week stays quiet, which I think when we discuss next week, I don't think much is happening. I'm definitely going to be checking out some Vorpex stuff. Because I was talking to Mike this morning, he was saying about it. Boy Brown has been doing Wizard's Dark Time, Pro Putt, Half-Life Alyx. Nice. VT says, I was driving my real car today and I imagined I was in an ET simulator. Something is wrong with me. Okay. Of course. Contractors beta on Quest. Excellent. All right, cool. So, what should we dive into first? What have I got on my notes here? So, we can quickly talk about the PlayStation 5 showcase has been postponed, but unless you guys know anything, I don't think they brought out a new date yet. It's just gone at the moment.
No, they
wind.
haven't as of yet. But apparently, Skifa wants to see more salsa.
And who doesn't?
Goal!
I love the lips at the end of it. It could be a slow-mo punch to the face, easy.
That you.
Excellent stuff. So yeah, and Upload VR Showcase also been moved. I think to the 16th of June.
It has been, yeah.
Which is obviously the one we should all be looking out for, because I also think it's going to be on IGN.
Yes. Yep.
It's going to be big, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some really good titles coming out that they're going to be showcasing there. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, and they've been teasing, haven't they? Like, personally, actually, I'm now more excited for Solaris coming first contact entertainment. PSVR Frank has been like, even though that game I don't think is coming out on PSVR straight away, I think it's on Quest and PC first. I think
that's right. Yeah,
I think that's what you said.
I have that in my head as well.
Yeah, man. Suddenly, I'm a bit like, hold on a minute. Like, Firewall is probably still the most popular game online on PSVR.
Definitely,
they've done a fantastic job. Sure, there's some things that I wanted changed. Do you know what I mean? Over time, instead of just adding content like physical, like what is it? It's just add-on DLC, isn't it? It isn't. I wanted some game changing. I wanted like rounds. I wanted voting for maps. I wanted the ability to name a class, and things like little things like that. I mean, I reckon Solaris might be absolutely amazing from them guys. It could be a huge, huge hit.
It's got so much potential because they've learned so much from Firewall. They've gone through all the bad times when everyone was slating it because the lobbies weren't working and matchmaking was terrible.
Yeah,
and they picked it up. They've added, like you said, they've added more maps and contractors and things like that.
Yeah,
and bits and pieces like that to keep people interested. But yeah, I'm excited for Solaris for the potential of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Considering what they've gone through and how they've developed as a team, kind of thing.
Yeah. So let me get my studio thing right, because this week, hopefully, and if this goes well, we can have something on in the background looking nice, and then we can talk about it, which is the Wizard's Dark Times, because I know Matt's obviously played it. I've played it. I don't know if Salsa played it. I can't remember what he said, if he did play it or not.
I haven't yet. It's I think a lot of games that I'm waiting for after my move. So I will hopefully be able to do more dedicated series of things after I move, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So we of course had Carbon Studio on the other week to talk about Dark Times. But I think we should leave it up to you guys first of all. What were your thoughts?
Matt, I'll let you go first if you want.
Okay, yeah. I like it. I mean, it's fun. I'm kind of a little bit more partial to this though, because I love anything that has to do with wizards and magic and stuff. And being able to use gestures is just like a dream come true. It reminds me of like Doctor Strange, and that's really what I want to see, something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun. I personally think it's a lot better than the original. I like the original, but I mean, the only thing that was, I don't know if you experienced this at all. The only thing that was a little bit weird was the climbing in it. It was almost like it was. I don't know how to describe it. You'd grab onto it and then your hand would shadow and move, but it wouldn't move with your actual. I don't know if it did it on for you or not. It was just a weird climbing thing.
I did think it was weird, but then I checked out Blades and Sorcery or Blade and Sorcery update 8, and the climbing mechanic in that is exceptionally strange. You have to actually like. It's not. It's in a way, it's almost too accurate. You have to put your hand exactly on the runner, and then it says ladder. And then you press grip and it moves. You'd kind of hope that your hand would suction itself to where you need to go and you can just climb. So, yeah, I know what you mean about the climbing. Graphically, I was very impressed with this, though.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah.
Which is going to make it hard going to like the Quest version. I mean, I obviously do all Quest, and I love the Quest. And I think that it's a really cool platform. But it's the same thing with Phantom Covert Ops. I've played the beta or whatever the release, the most recent thing that they sent out for creators to check out. And going from that back to the Quest is going to be interesting because obviously the Quest is great.
Yeah.
but there is a loss of quality that you're seeing, and they have to kind of scale it back quite a bit. So I'm curious to see with the Wizards Dark Times, because I know that that's their next goal. I think is coming out with the Quest version after this.
Yeah.
Before it even goes to PSVR. I think, anyways. I don't have the notes in front of me, but it was really cool. And if they can get the mechanics and everything into the Quest version, I think that a lot of people will really enjoy the game itself.
Yeah, I think they will, because they've done that with the previous ones really well. They haven't let us down, I don't think, on Wizards release so far. But
yeah, do we know what the overall game time on that is yet or not?
No one's
finished.
No one's quoted anything yet, and I'll tell you what, I can't actually remember in our interview whether I asked that question. I actually can't remember if we asked about gameplay length.
So, I mean, that's one of the other things with Quest now as well, where you're going to get to the point with the Quest versions of games where people are going to want things that are a little bit longer. We know from a lot of other people's sort of like feel on VR.
I've just played Salsa again. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to everyone in chat. I just randomly clicked it. I do apologise.
Like a moth to the flame, GT.
Yeah, as soon as he talks, man, that's all I think about is yeah. I think. Boy Brown said I did ask the question about gameplay length, but they sidestepped it. They didn't want to answer.
They did a sidestep, yeah.
So when I was playing I was live streaming. I think I might have gone for 2.5 hours. I'm guessing maybe around the 2-hour mark, which I actually think has become a bit of a norm for me now because of the Quest. Because the Quest, if no one knows it or not, comes with its own timer, which is called the battery. So you're like,
yes,
you're tired. You're like, it's 2 hours, whether you like it or not, without setting everything up, obviously. So yeah,
or having an auxiliary battery plugged into the thing.
But I tell you what was good: the price of Dark Times. I think the price was like £17. I don't know what that was in for you guys in dollars.
I guess $24.99 here, I think is what it is.
Yeah, it's like an early adopting price, and I thought that was really good. As I said before, I like all the weapons now have really cool secondary powers. It's definitely more action based.
Yes, definitely is.
Yeah,
and it seems less simplistic. Like the original was great, but all the enemies were very similar. You kind of could tell when enemies were going to come around more than anything. It felt less like you're in a world and more like you're in a linear path. And even though in the Dark Times you're still kind of on a linear path, I think that it feels more like a world you're inside of with all these different types of enemies. I think that's and it varies more too in the different places that you go. I mean, the original had I don't remember, it's 5 different areas or something like that, 5 or 6. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
This one though, all of the areas are different, and you kind of weave your path. It feels a little like a story, and you can go back to your home using those portals at any point in time when you get to kind of like a checkpoint.
Did you do that though? Was there any reason to go back? Because I just kept going. And I was trying to think. Yeah. Is there a reason that I've got to go through this portal? Is there something to collect or upgrade or?
Yeah, see, I did go back and I played around a little bit because I recorded up until that point, and then I continued to play a little bit farther inside of the little home, and I didn't really see any reason to be back there. But I mean, you can go back. I mean, it's cool to explore, and there's some stuff you can do in there. I think that I haven't figured out yet. Plus, I think later on in the game, there might be more to it because the narrator kept saying that there wasn't any reason yet to come back or something along those lines. So there must be something that happens that gets you to go back there.
He's telling you.
Maybe to be discovered yet.
There's no reason to come back. Yeah. So it sounds like a couple of guys in the chat checked it out, which is pretty cool. I am wondering how many of you are using the Quest link, because recently I've started to notice that I think more people on my channel are now Quest and PC VR, a lot more. So I just wanted to know.
I do virtual desktop for everything because I can stay untethered and I don't have to worry about a cable, because my PC is probably a good 12 feet from where I play. So it would be a pain to have any kind of cable running all the way that way. And it allows me to just play without the same way I'd play the Quest. Plus, as long as my PC's on, I don't even have to connect anything. I just turn on virtual desktop because it's running in the background all the time, and I can jump into any game I want to at any point in time. So I think a lot of people are realizing that's a good option too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you brought up PSVR, because when we speak about PSVR, one of the things which is the main reason that my uncle in particular would stop using it, was the setup. It's funny you should say that earlier, because that's exactly what it was. He really couldn't be asked with making sure he had the correct space, the lighting was right, and the way a lot of people, and you don't have to do this, but a lot of people will put their camera square on with their TV. So whatever way their panel faces is where their camera faces. And my uncle would do the same. And it gave him, like, I don't know, maybe 3 foot of room. Because he felt he had to see the TV at the same time, or, you know, and I was like, no, you don't need to do that. You could put that camera there where your room is actually like 8 foot long. It might not be that, you know, but I can see that people think that, don't they? They think to themselves.
It's funny you say that, because I did exactly that as well. For so long, I had my camera right in front of my TV, and I had like no space at all. Probably like 2 or 3 foot away from the camera, so my tracking was always pants.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
And then one day I just went, let me just put the camera on top of this cabinet and point it over here. Oh yeah, I've got like about 20 foot of space now.
Exactly, dude. And do you know what that was? I reckon it was the tutorial video, which basically said you can either put the camera on top of your TV or beneath your TV. And I think when you go in the settings, it even says beneath the TV, on top of the TV. So people are like, well, it's obviously got to go on the TV.
Yeah.
I think it's probably that those settings came off because of original stuff with the Move, where you weren't using it for VR, you was using it for just the Move camera stuff, which was flat screen based. So that was originally there for that, and kind of got left there as a legacy.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, man, yeah. So let's start talking about premium bowling. The video you're all looking at now in the background is from the PC, but actually looking at it, apart from some reflections in the video, I would actually say it looks very similar, to be fair, and they've done a pretty good job. So, Dane or Sels, did you check premium bowling out at all?
I haven't. It's like I say, I've been all up on the AMS2 really, and trying to get more of a grip on what I can do with driving certain cars. But I would probably be terrible at this.
I tell you what, GT is amazing at it.
That sounds like GT in total things. It's like bowling. Yeah, he's got that. It's chucking the ball down a lane. Headshot, bam. He's on the headshots.
It's just, I don't know, like, it's weird, but in real world bowling, I'm lucky. But somehow I got a turkey playing this with Matt, and I was just like, this is impossible. This would not happen in real life, I'm certain. But we did have some good times with this. I think it was due some updates. I don't know if the official version, because we were playing it early release, our versions would have been weeks before, I guess, getting updates.
Yeah. I've played it since, and I haven't played multiplayer, but some of the same things were kind of present, so I'm not sure a lot of it got updated. And I actually put a video out, just a quick one. It wasn't on the channel. I put it on Twitter and on Facebook on how to actually get into a multiplayer match, because I kept getting questions. How do I actually play with a friend?
But me and you had this. I nearly went to the corner again. Me and you had the same thing, didn't we? Where I was, you figured it out for me. I was just like, dude, what is going on? Yeah,
it's not simple. I mean, getting into a multiplayer match is pretty easy if you just do a random person, because you just pretty much find a random match. Or challenge a random person. But you have to go in and make sure your challenge box is checked, and you got to make sure that both of the players are in the same spot, and then you can challenge them. So it's a little bit kind of convoluted that way. But once you know how to do it, it's not so bad. We figured it out, and we could just keep playing. But I did a little video because it's like, everyone was saying, how do we play with a friend? I want to be able to play with a friend, not with a random person.
It's weird that they would implement an online feature, which some games come out and they haven't for some reason. And they come out and then it's like, don't help you how to do it. And one of the other thing is cross-platform with PC. We had a guy turn up called The Dude. And he was bowling.
You was bowling with the dude.
I'm telling you.
That's amazing, man.
We was watching him play, and we was going...
Mind blown.
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing.
He literally got a strike or a spare every single time.
Yeah, and we were going...
Oh, the dude.
We were going, he's a bot. He's got to be a bot. And then we decided... So Revitalizer said he was a bot for sure. We jumped out And he wasn't a bot, was he? He was in
No.
he jumped into another lobby with us, didn't he, or something?
Yeah, no, he was available to challenge.
That's
he
it.
was, but it said he was a PC player, not a VR player.
So he was playing it with a keyboard and mouse, which
Yeah.
I haven't played it with keyboard and mouse, but I'm assuming, like, if you're playing it, obviously in VR, it's got to be a lot harder. I'd imagine it's got to be.
Yep.
You know,
I'm going to ask, what did the throw accuracy feel like? Because obviously, bowling is a good thing. I presume that you had your
what's he
your,
doing?
what do you call it? Your
What's he got?
straps on your
Yeah, yeah,
controller.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The someone called them the mamoots the other day. I call them the mammoths.
Mammoths.
Mammoths, and
GT.
mine's the Anvar.
Oh,
Yeah, I have the AMVR ones too. But yeah, the throwing accuracy, when you say that, it was weird because when we played multiplayer, I sucked really bad. Not that that's weird, but then I would play it in single player and actually be able to aim, which is probably just because we're messing around and having fun. But I don't know if maybe there is some difference in the way that it functions when you're in a lobby or you're online. I don't know if that's possible, but like I don't think I got one strike the entire time, and then I went and played it yesterday or the day before. And I wasn't, I mean, I'm not a professional bowler, but I bowled a lot when I was younger. So I have a decent idea of how to put spin on the ball, what you can do. And it was a lot more accurate.
yeah,
course,
that's
there
what's
was some-
important. Yeah, I haven't actually played it single player. So what you're saying
Yeah.
is, if you're semi-competent at bowling and you've got some techniques, maybe they do actually come across in this.
Yeah.
And-
And it seems to function a lot, really well. And that could be, maybe that could be the update. Maybe there was an update as far as that goes. Because we played the pre-release version, obviously, and then I was playing the full release version. So it's possible that was the case too.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Sorry, Sal, so you going to say something, D?
I was going to say, Revitalizer asked, what does Arnie call them? Which I presume is...
The mammoths.
There you go.
there you go.
Anvers.
So
See,
there you go.
Souse
Now
has-
you know what Arnie
Souse has
calls
put
them.
you out of business, Chopper, actually, isn't it, when you think about it? You was the super chat guy, and Souse has come along and just smashed you. He's like...
I'm kind of glad to retire, to be fair.
Nice. Yeah, so let us know in the chat if you've been playing Premium Bowling and what you think of it. Because end of the day, when I played it, I did think it was a good bowling game. I did do that little test. Some games, like behind the scenes stuff, always goes on to maybe make you think you're a good player. I did actually do a couple of bowls, looking another way and throwing it to see maybe is there any like head tracking going on or targeting or anything like that. It did actually seem that if you twisted your hand, you could get a bit of a spin on it, like Matt was saying. But if you ask me to bowl a turkey regularly, I can't see it happening. Like, I think we was both in astonishment. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was like, no way. And there was some really funny things going on with the balls, wasn't there? Like you could make them explode, float.
Yeah.
The avatars were crazy. Like he was
Oh,
bowling through your own legs. It was like there was just some really crazy stuff happening.
Yeah. The only other thing that I have seen mentioned by players so far is that there is no chat inside of the game yet. No
Oh,
voice chat.
Oh,
It hasn't been implemented yet, so it's just text chat. So unless you're in a party with somebody and you're friends with them, you're not gonna be able to actually talk to a random person you're bowling with.
Yeah.
that's a shame. But there's a lot of people who don't actually turn their mics on
Right.
a lot, to be fair. But bowling is a great social thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, that's part of the thing of like you're chilling out with friends, aren't you?
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Any multiplayer game that doesn't have like native in-game party chat, or not party chat, in-game multiplayer chat, that's such a massive missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Just have it there, and then have the option to mute or not use your mic, like you're saying, if people don't want to. But to not have it there is frustrating.
So
Yeah,
Scott,
they said they're coming out with.
oh sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they're coming out with an update supposedly on it, but there's no timeline on it, so I don't know how long it'll take to actually come out.
No,
Apparently, it just said next update. So yeah.
Scott is all about the Quest life, and he's like, I think he literally chases developers of the latest games to make sure the whole of the Quest world is doing okay. And yeah, he just wrote exactly the same thing. So let's step on over to Project Cars 3, which recently. To be honest, I've been following Project Cars. I didn't know anything about this at the time.
This is something that I've known. Project Cars 3 is coming for quite a few months that it was in development. So I had heard whispers in the background when.
Yeah, don't get me
different
wrong. I
things
knew
had
one
started.
was happening, but what I didn't know was
Yeah.
they announce it and they say it's coming summer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm used to that
that was a
long run up.
surprise.
I'm used to that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can see it a long way
Yeah.
out. But yeah, and the good thing is, like, literally, when I saw it, I thought, well, it probably won't have VR support straight away, and yeah, it has. So
Yeah, well, there's the other side to it, and that is that Slightly Mad Studios, for those who don't know, was acquired by Codemasters.
that's crazy, dude.
Now, Codemasters has both a good and bad side about VR support.
I'm pretty sure as well. It's Bando Namco. No, Namco Bandai. What did I just say? Banco Nang. I don't know. I can't even say it again. I'm pretty sure they're something to do with this as well.
Namco Bandai.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that actually, because with Slightly Mad Studios, a long time ago, I haven't followed this Project Cars in a long time. I've played some Project Cars too, but the original Project Cars, I remember I interviewed the creative director from Slightly Mad Studios back then. And he's not. I don't think he's involved with it anymore at all. But back then, I mean, the game was like revolutionary as far as what it did and all the different things you could do. So I'm curious to check out Project Cars 3 because I haven't played Project Cars 2 very much, but in VR at all. So I'm curious to kind of see what 3 is going to be like.
In VR, man, it is amazing. And to be fair, so let me read this thing here. It says, get ready for your ultimate driver journey. In Project Cars 3, you can own, upgrade, customize hundreds of elite brand road and race cars. Slightly Mad is promising over 200 elite brand cars and over 140 tracks. You can personalize your racing hero, then race your way up from a weekend warrior to a racing legend in stunning global locations. Project Cars 3 is coming summer 2020 to PS4, Xbox One, PC, and featuring best in its class PC VR support. Apparently they haven't announced what headsets will be supported with it, but you can bet it's going to be all the standard ones. So that, to me, is one of those games, actually, I will be getting this because it's almost got that single-player arcade experience for me. You know, JD Max is in the chat. He's fantastic. He does... what one does he do, Souse? What's JD's one?
He does iRacing.
iRacing.
Was the big...
Which is
the big
almost like a
kahuna.
real racing career, isn't it?
Well, that's a full-on sim game. You know, it doesn't get more full-on sim unless, of course, you've got
A real car.
Pro.
Yeah.
But this is, you know, this is a bit of a thing. Like I said, they've been got Codemasters in here, and that means people that actually do the sim side of things, much as some of myself as well. We've actually kind of got a bit of a negative side on this one because there is what we call the Codemaster effect.
Okay.
And that is to remove what makes it more car driving like or more sim orientated, real world orientated.
So from
out of the game.
As I said the other week, I am looking for that Daytona Scud Racer, like arcade rush. That's me. Yeah, I just want to always think, man, that was crazy good. I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. I'm hoping actually this is the balance though for me. Like going back to like Gran Turismo, which I mean, I know a lot of people said for me that played like an arcade racer. I know there was bits that, but like there wasn't much to dabble into. You can go into the settings and do stuff, obviously, but I didn't really have to. And I liked that. You know what I mean? There was as much as I wanted.
No, I get where you're coming from on that,
and I enjoyed it.
With this, I'm getting more of a Need for Speed vibe.
Really?
Yeah. There's right. So what we're looking at here at the moment is the release trailer, which is like your pre-rendered stuff. There's a couple of other videos out there. There is an arcade mode gameplay trailer, which is super arcadey looking. It's like middle of the action and looks very, very sort of in your face, Need for Speed, all of that type of Forza, Forza Horizon type of thing going on, more arcadey than GT Sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which of course had a lot of the sim world up going, no, Codemasters, what have you done to them? And I'm kind of in that camp, and a little tear kind of rolled down the side of my eye, down the cheek, and
into the butt.
Did you say a tear or a tire?
I think he
Was
said
it a
tear.
pun?
a tire rolled out of his eye and into his butt.
A tire of moistness rolled down my
a
face.
tire went bumping along in the background. That's what it did.
Do you all remember when Disc 2, or I can't remember which disc it was, but the blue disc of Gran Turismo 2 smelt like burnt tire? Does anyone remember that?
Yeah. I bought that, definitely. Day release.
That was so cool. That was such a cool feature.
The old scratch and sniff.
But for all the reasons that South is probably not looking forward to this, I'm very much looking forward to it. So yeah, and check it out in VR, dude. Like every game I've played so far in VR, apart from Dirt, I think is the one really I should put more time into. But that is hard. Like that is hard. I need to play it. Yeah.
There is another mode to this. So that's the full-on arcade mode, and there is supposed to be a sim mode. Now, the sim mode looks closer to Drive Club physics rather than PC cars or GT Sport physics. It looks a lot more slidey. So I'm sort of like, it looks more like they've got arcade plus mode and sort of arcade mode.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So I'm on the fence over what's happening with this one.
What's happening?
I'll probably get it just to evaluate it, see what's going on, give it its fair dues.
I'm definitely going to get it, but I'll tell you what is going to happen, Salsa. Yeah, we just got a donation from Scott, and he says, "Hit that like button, friends." Also thought of NFS when GT was describing it.
Goal!
Yep. It just keeps you smiling. That's important. Do you know what I mean? It's like a little bit of Christmas every now and again, a little bit of a prod. Like, oh, there you go, bit of Christmas for you. It's great fun. So Ecosphere. Has anyone heard of this Ecosphere game coming to Quest?
I saw it on the coming soon section. I don't really know a lot about it.
So I'm hoping, if I can do this correctly, which I just completely messed up, I've got a video going. It's all right. It looked in a funny ratio thing. So this is a series of VR videos recorded in 180 degrees 3D. That worries me straight away. Comes from Foria. This app offers several encounters with exotic wildlife from across the globe. The experience is narrated by actress and WWF ambassador Anna Friel. I don't know if that means anything to anyone.
Yep, I remember.
And
sorry. The only thing it meant to me was when I first read it, I thought I said WWE, so I got confused.
That's what I was just thinking.
When I was
like, what's the connection here?
When I was reading it, I thought of wrestling because it used to be WWF and it went to WWE. So yeah, that is
going
mad.
into nature, finding an animal, and then like body slamming it.
Yeah, I did. I honestly thought
game.
of wrestling. Honestly, I'm not lying. I swear to God, I did. Like WWF, I thought, oh, that's a bit funny. And lands on Oculus Quest June 8th, and will be available on the Oculus Go 2, and it is already listed in the coming soon section. I don't know what the price is. I haven't checked the coming soon section to see if there's any prices or anything. But normally, things like this are never quite as good as they look, and the fact it's in 180 sort of worries me a little bit. But it's just 3D 180.
If it's 180 3D VR, then it's some spectacular sights to be had.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It's in 3D for sure, and I've talked with a couple of companies actually recently that have cameras designed to shoot that kind of video, and they were telling me, because one of their cameras shoots 360, and one of them shoots 180 3D, and they apparently 183D is a lot better because I mean you're obviously getting that dimension. That's why it's supposed to be better. But
Nice. So it's definitely one of those ones actually I really want to check out because
Yeah.
I love. I don't know about you, man. I love a nature documentary. My family hates it. I will sit there and just watch stuff because I don't know. I guess I'm. How do they see me? Like the stupid. Just watch cars go or something. And then I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I watch cartoons still, Samurai Jack or whatever. SpongeBob. SpongeBob the movie, by the way, is fantastic. And then I'm sitting there watching this, and they're probably thinking, "Why are you pretending? Why are you pretending?"
So why? Yeah. So why have you thrown them through a loop and confused your whole family?
I just love all that
What
stuff.
they're thinking.
I think.
But I do get where you're coming from. I'm not a big animals person, but this under the ocean stuff, I would eat up. Anybody who's ever been scuba diving, I used to go jumping off cliffs in the morning into the ocean
naked
to wake up. So that used to be my morning.
He'd sprint out on his east wing of his building and then go straight into that massive privately owned.
Well, not quite. Me of old, I would get on my scooter, go down to the cliffs, jump off, and see some fishes at the bottom of the ocean.
He'd have
That used to be my.
He'd have waterproof monocles. Souse's face is like, what the fuck are you talking about? So yeah,
and why monocles?
Because you love a monocle, dude. Oh crap! I've done it again. I've got to leave it going. I've got to leave it going. Oh man.
Oh man.
This is a nightmare. Souse, your face is a nightmare, honestly.
It's
yeah,
buddy.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. Next up, there was an update for Gorn on PSVR. I haven't checked it out personally, but I can just by reading it, I know it is very much welcomed. I think by especially a lot of the well-seasoned users of PSVR. Gorn fans rejoiced this week when developer Free Lies rolled out a patch to improve the height calibration, reduce the difficulty in a certain battle. I don't know the name of it, and now you can remove the PSVR Guardian, or most people just called it the annoying blue net. And they've added additional movement options.
Yep.
Because it had a very strange movement option, didn't it? That was
Yeah, I'm curious about that because I almost thought that was in there on purpose. Because if you can move freely with the analogs, I think the game would be a lot easier. Like almost like highlight its simplicity, if that makes sense.
right.
Because I found it really simple to kind of move forward, whack 'em, dodge. It wasn't really that challenging. It's funny, it's fun to play, but it wasn't challenging.
Have you seen what Boy Brown wrote? He put, "Did they patch a game in as well?"
Oh,
Anti-Gorn, anti-Polish Paul. That's what you are, if that's the case. You know what I mean?
I think it's good fun. Obviously it is what it is, isn't it? It's a wave shooter with some melee weapons and some kind of fun mess around physics.
and lots of blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's just a mess around game. It was never like advertised as being something deep, or it's just got a random cult following that carried across to PSVR.
It's one of the early VR games, though, isn't it? Like a lot of,
exactly.
and someone
around a
said,
lot.
I think it might have been on the show. Someone was on it, and they said it was one of those games that was like viral with tubers. You know, they necessarily weren't VR tubers; they were just like famous tubers. I don't know if PewDiePie's played it. I don't know if Jacksepticeye played it. But at the end of the day, kids are going to see that and they're going to be like, "Wow, Gorn!" And then they,
This was definitely a game that was aimed at the younger generation, and that's what the majority of all the comments that have come through saying, "When's Gorn coming out?" You're like, I know exactly how old you are just from that comment.
yeah.
Like generally, other people weren't even asking that question.
Gorn, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yep.
Those are the same kind of audience. I haven't played it on PSVR. I played it on PC VR, and it was all right, but I personally wasn't really a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but it was all right, but it just didn't do much for me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, dude. I played it on PC, had a brilliant time, but as soon as I stopped having a brilliant time, I've moved on. Like, I forgot about it almost. It's like going on a roller coaster. Do you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, this is excellent, and you go on to the next roller coaster, and you don't necessarily go back and think, that wasn't. I mean, it obviously isn't the best roller coaster. There's obviously, it's good fun. You can't say it's not good fun. It delivers, I think, what they intend to deliver. They've added in loads of, I assume, what were mods made by a community in the past now into the game. So, and they're good fun, like slow mo, big head mode. I think it's confetti mode, isn't there, or something? Or
Yeah. That's like if you turn the blood off or something.
yeah, and you know that's important as well, because then I guess your kids can still enjoy punching someone's face in without the blood. You know, you can just go look at this like a beat 'em up party.
Teach them that you can take an axe to someone's head and they'll be fine.
Exactly, dude. There's nothing wrong with this at all. I think you can still, and you can also pull their arms off, their legs, their head. You know, and it just, what is it, like a pinata?
Yeah.
You know, can't wait to try that on your friends at school. What else we got? So, Gloomy Eyes. Let's. I don't know if I got a trailer for Gloomy Eyes. I'm not sure, but let's start talking about Gloomy Eyes. Has anyone checked out Gloomy Eyes? Because I don't really want to lead this one, to be honest.
Yeah, multiple times.
Really?
Yeah,
You
watched it
done
a couple of times.
multiple times?
Multiple times. I watched it a couple of times over, because there's a lot of ways that you can see this animation and move around it a lot more than some of the other animations. It's you do need a lot of space with Gloomy Eyes to actually view it differently.
I'm glad you said that, because so today I was trying to watch this, and started off okay, and then obviously it's moving round, so I was sort of following it, and then suddenly it sort of moved towards me a bit, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, hold on a minute, I need to sort of move, because you know I'm seated, and then all of a sudden it was in my eyes, and I couldn't see anything, so I was like, okay, so I held the Oculus button, which then froze the experience for about 10 seconds and didn't move. Like, it was just still stuck in my eyes. So in the end, I had to literally come all the way over to this side of the room to like look at it again, and I found it boring.
I got involved with the story on this one, and
I wanted to.
just I love things like this where you get the narrative, and you if you connect to the narrative, stuff like this is really great. And I always love this type of almost stop motion style of animation, and to have that come alive in front of you as your entire world, and you to be able to actually move in and go as close as you want to the action, or take yourself back from it. And then occasionally with some of this one, it does have a case of things whirl around you, and you have to kind of like go, whoa, and move out of the way or move towards it, or things like that. It was a really nice animation for me. It's the same with things like Coco as well. That was a fabulous type of animation, and I just love it when this stuff is done really well. And I think Gloomy Eyes is done really, really well.
That's awesome, and I wish I would have felt the same. I'll tell you what it does art wise. It reminds me of Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was
very much so.
I was very surprised he isn't involved, actually. But I was thinking, is this guy involved? And I checked, and all I could find was Colin Farrell is the voice or the narrator.
Yeah,
That's about the only
narrator.
person. So I'm assuming Tim Burton's got nothing to do with this, otherwise he'd be plastered over it.
Yeah.
I watched chapter 1, and I think the lack of interaction, which is bad, really, because I know it's not meant. It's not meant to have any. It's fine. It's not. But for me, I was watching it, and as you're saying, I think it just didn't pull me in. You know, it didn't. I was watching it, I was like, I want this to, because developers messaged me and asked me to check it out. And I said to them, I'll watch it. I don't necessarily know whether I'll review it. And I'll talk about it on the show, which we are now. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're the opposite side. It's a shame, you know, like I say, for me, I've watched it, you know, a few times, and it's split up into chapters. It's something that should be said as well there. And I absolutely loved it because I love the style of it. I like the story of it. I like the production values. I think in terms of animations, this shows a part of the potential that I love about VR and animation, because I really do like animation
So do I.
as a
I love.
format of storytelling.
So do I. I love it, man. I love it.
And for me, this is one of the, has been one of the better examples, but it's odd in that it does require a much, much larger play space than most people in VR actually have. This is one of the first, I think, VR non-interactive animations where
it's not just in front of you. For
you need a way to move around the scene rather than just moving, because it actually has that much scope.
Do you know what it needs? It needs, and I think something that I don't see used very often is like, what's the Alice in Wonderland kind of game we had?
Down the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole, a grab and move.
Yeah, I think that's great, man. Like you can make your own scale. You can make the world seem really huge, and and then put it back again. And I'd love that. I'd love that. That'd be so cool.
One thing that I think was kind of unfortunate in what happened, the way that it came out, is it was listed as being a hand tracking game when it was listed in the coming soon section on the Oculus store. So people jumping into the game were expecting the ability to use hand tracking, which it does use hand tracking, but only in the menu. So you can choose the episode you want with hand tracking. So everybody went into it expecting, ooh, this is another diorama style game, but I'm going to use hand tracking in.
Yeah.
And come to find out, really just
terrible.
Yeah, so it kind of screwed over the reviews, because there's a lot of people have reviewed it as that. I bought this expecting to be able to interact with it, and it's not interactive.
Right.
Why even put the hand tracking for a menu
something
interaction?
to note for anybody as well. Anybody out there who has Viveport, Gloomy Eyes is free on Viveport. So if you have a Viveport account, go watch on Viveport, because and Simon Seeds has come up and said that as well.
I just want to, so Fabstar says about Quill Theatre. I have a great time in Quill Theatre. I always regularly jump in and check out that stuff on Quest. It's very good. It's really good. Someone just put VR Cuphead, and I'm instantly like, whoa, what's going on?
They want a VR Cuphead.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait for technology. I thought there was some sort of news that I'd love that, man.
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? A VR Cuphead would be pretty damn awesome.
Next video title: is Cuphead coming to VR? Then the video's like 2 seconds long. No.
With hand tracking.
With hand tracking. No.
Everyone goes crazy. Yeah. So Gloomy Eyes. I'll have to try it again. But obviously, Salsa absolutely loves it, and me personally, I'm still I probably need to spend a bit more time with it. Matt, did you say you checked it out?
Just for a few minutes. I didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
The problem that I had with it, and it's not a problem, it's just that I didn't, like you said, I didn't connect with it because I'm not a huge fan of the Tim Burton stop motion style of animation anyways. I'm more traditional computer generated or even hand drawn animation. That's more my favorite.
Yeah.
So I know it's not stop motion, but it felt like it. So I think I'd have to force myself to sit through it longer. And if I could connect with the story, then I probably would enjoy it. But I just didn't have the time to do that in the art style. It didn't put me off in a negative way, but
it is actually a very strange thing that VR, and we, like I say, I equate it to stop motion because it has the feel of stop motion. And I was a fan of Tim Burton before the sort of stop motion thing, because you had like the Batman films and stuff like that, and then you've got the whole Nightmare Before Christmas, and when you've done all of the darker side of that, which is obviously one of the connections, because Tim Burton's always been related to that gothic style, and this has got like the zombie and the light and the dark and the play of this and that in it, which obviously brings you, people into that whole mindset. But it's really odd to me that VR animation has ended up feeling so much like stop animation. This whole thing that it really does feel like these sort of stop animations when it's all CG.
Yeah.
It's all computer generated.
Yeah,
Same with the story of C as well. Anybody who wants to see something like that, that's a very different take on this type of thing. Whereas Gloomy Eyes it encourages you to wander where you like. You still have action points where you should look towards, and it does a good job of getting you to look towards them. Whereas the story of C is very much, bam, we're going to force you to look in a set direction. And there's a few others as well.
I loved the line. I thought that was really good. It was just, once again, I think these things are so good and then they're so short, and I'm like, oh man, I wish it was longer. I really enjoyed the line.
Could you imagine like Wallace and Gromit in this, though?
Yeah,
Could
absolutely.
you imagine Wallace and Gromit VR?
Wensleydale.
Wednesday.
I'm all for any animation being in VR, because I'd love to experience some of those worlds. Some of those, like you mentioned Samurai Jack earlier. Can you imagine any of those, the good cartoons back in the day that were just great worlds? I'd love to just enter into any of those.
Yeah, for sure. Ray Pope has said Alumet, which is free. I've only played it on PSVR. I don't know if it's on everything else. I'm assuming it is on Steam, and that is very good. I really enjoyed that. But once again, as I said, I don't know whether it's the lack of interaction or not. But definitely, you can check out Gloomy Eyes and let us know what you think. Especially if you've got that Vive port, man. Like that seems to be for the win lately. For sure. So next up, we're going to talk about Rinlo, which is a game actually I started playing today. I started having a look into it, and someone I know who else has tried it, he said it was rough around the edges. When I went on upload, because I noticed it was on their site, they also said it looked rough around the edges. Funny enough, it doesn't actually look rough around the edges. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it looks, how can I put it? When it comes to the textures, some of the textures don't quite look as good as they could be, but this is still early access. So let me just read to you some things about this. It's a third-person VR platforming game. It's early access June 9th. That's 2 days away. You control a young girl named Agatha that sets out on a journey to learn the secrets behind her parents. In the trailer you're watching now, it shows plenty of traversal, but we also get a better look at Rinlo's first-person interactions, in which the player embodies the protagonist to complete puzzles and minigames. And so that's what I can talk about. Basically, yeah, when you're playing the game, the traversal's not quite, or the jumping mechanic isn't quite as good as it could be, because she seems to jump and slow down. You ever seen those cartoons where like the character jumps and they're still running, but they're not going anywhere, and they fall suddenly? Like the first time I jumped across something, I died, and I was like, well, that shouldn't have happened, because the original, like, I guess, speed or trajectory or whatever of my jump should have made it, but it seemed to get like 3/4 way through and go meh. So I was like, okay, you've got to like get that into your mind of the way this is going to work. The other thing is you can't jump while on ledges. Like in Uncharted, you could look to the left, press jump, and he'd jump across. It makes the whole going across mechanic less boring, doesn't it? You know what I mean? But in this, no, unfortunately. Yeah, you're just pressing left or right for ages while she shuffles along. A couple of things like that I think I wish the developers would have picked up on. This isn't coming out till October, November though. This is a demo and everyone can get involved, I believe, on Steam. I would say check it out. And I'm looking over there again. I would say check it out. I really enjoyed it. Funny enough, I might live stream it. I don't know. I might make a video of it. But yeah, when I first started, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know. Is this going to be good? And then halfway through, I just started thinking, yeah, it's quite good. I'm getting interested, I'm interested in the game and where it's going. So, yeah, you'll probably see more from me on this one. Just because I love third-person games in VR. I think they work so well, considering, as we know, back in the day, third-person people were like, it's VR, it's got to be first-person. I think this makes platforming fantastic. I'd love to see, like, I've never streamed, what's the Fox one? What's that called? It's out on Switch and everything.
Well, it's yeah. I
Lucky
can't
Tales, is that
remember
what it's
the name
called?
of it.
Yeah, something that's Super Lucky's Tale. That's it, or Lucky's
Yeah.
Tale.
Lucky's Tale. Oh yeah, of course, Lucky's Tale.
I've got it, man, and it's really good. I have never streamed it, but I do intend to one day. Astrobot platformer, very good. Funny enough, one of the things I wanted to get in quickly, when it talks about the first person bits, yeah, it is in the trailer where you've got like the line and you've got to make sure the hoop. Like, dude, I nearly broke my arm playing that. Honestly, I was going around. I got to a point. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck? Like, I'm either going to lose my tracking and I'm going to fail anyway. But my actual wrist was hurting. It was crazy what I was trying to get you to do. There was a couple of puzzles, very simple. But on the whole, I want to see more and I want to play more. So yeah. What about you guys watching the trailer? What do you think of this?
Yeah, I'm always up for platformers like that. Like Moss is brilliant, Astrobot's brilliant, and I think they can work really well. And I think it's just got said in the chat about Ven VR. That's coming to. Is that just coming to PSVR or is it coming to other platforms
It's coming
as well?
to all of them, I think.
All of them.
Not Quest. I haven't heard any Quest. I've just heard.
No, I haven't heard Quest officially, although they did comment on my list video where I mentioned it. And I don't remember what the comment was, but it was a very mysterious comment. So I'm hoping that their goal is to eventually release on Quest.
Yeah. I think that's every developer's goal at the minute.
I was going to say, yeah.
Every single game, they just go, we need to get it on Quest.
We want Quest Pie. The Quest Pie is warm.
It is like a very much a growing platform. I think the important thing with a lot of these games, and one of the things that Moss did so well and was a really big goal earlier on, is providing that connection to us as players and providing an emotional connection to people. And this is where you can tell a big difference between something where it's got the quality of animation or the quality of narrative and the quality of voice and sound.
Yeah.
And it's the same from Moss to Gloomy Eyes to what was the other one? The flat 2D from Little Bug Studio. The Lost
Bear or something.
The Lost Bear.
Oh, the Lost Bear was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. That felt like a live theatre production.
That is
of a platform game.
That I'll never
which
forget
is an odd, is such an odd combination, but worked so well because it had so much obvious heart and soul, and was so well crafted. When you do something like this, you've got to get that craft down, that narrative storytelling craft and connection with people down, that they become truly invested. If they miss that from the game, then they're missing the point. And that is the bit that really needs to be nailed.
I do know what I know what you're saying. But then when I think back to something like Mario 64, all I cared about was getting the stars. I didn't really care about actually saving the princess, and I didn't really care about the story. It was the levels.
Well, also, the same with that Astrobot. I don't care about the little robot. I know he's kind of cute and he waves at you and stuff like that, but it was the gameplay, it was the level design.
They're doing, but they have something there that's still brilliant to connect to, that grabs you. If there isn't something that grabs you about the game, that it has that level of polish or that level of brilliance, then it stands out worse in VR. If it has something that has that connection where you go, this is really good to play, this is really enticing, it needs that one bit that draws you in, that is the good part of flat gaming in general, that we always liked as a kid or an adult, whatever, playing flat games as well, for it to actually gain anything from VR as well.
I know what you're saying, but I do also disagree, because
I disagree.
A lot of games, man, I've played. I was an arcade guy. I am like, that looks fantastic. I don't care about the story. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to play it. In the chat, someone's asked if Medal of Honor is coming to the Quest. I don't think it's coming to the Quest. I think
It's a very long reach.
Yes, that would be like saying Half-Life Alyx was coming to the Quest.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and I'm looking at no one again. I need to actually get focused on this. Hello. How you doing?
GT actually has a producer, and he's sitting by GT. He's trying to hide this fact, but he's looking at auto cue cards every 5 seconds.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so don't get me wrong. Like what you're saying is definitely a benefit. It's definitely a positive. Don't get me wrong. But like, as I said, like going back to Mario 64 and I think of platformers, to me that was one of the best platformers of all time. And I don't remember caring about the story. I just wanted to get all them stars in each level. Yeah. But the platforming was just fantastic, and the boss fights.
Yeah, that's a Nintendo thing, though, isn't it? Nintendo has a way to enchant you as well.
It's a gaming thing, really, isn't it? Like,
okay, yeah,
Here's Ven going on in the background, by the way, guys. We'll just transition to get some gameplay of that because I don't know if anyone's seen it.
I think that when it comes down to with platformers specifically, like I'm an original PlayStation. I had the original PlayStation, PS2, PS3, PS4. PlayStation's always been my thing. I love PlayStation, or I always have. So like the original Crash Bandicoot, used to love that as a platforming game. Those types of games. But that was strictly platformer. I don't remember what specifically the story was with it. I just knew get those apples and whatever, destroy Neocortex. That's all I remember.
That's it.
But so those I love those experiences, but then you have something come along like I think it was pretty sure it was PS2, where you had what was it? Now I can't remember the name of it. Jak and Daxter.
Oh
yes,
yeah, man!
Brilliant.
What a great game!
Absolutely epic.
Yes, amazing game. The story though is what got me with that one. I love the platforming aspect of it, but the story of Jak and Daxter, Jak 2, where he turns dark and you got that dynamic. So I mean that I think that there's obviously value to all of it, but there's different games do different things differently, obviously. And I think that you have your strictly platforming games that are just incredible arcade games. Then you get the game every once in a while that nails both the platforming and the story, so you remember it for more than one reason. And those tend to be the ones I remember the most. But like even with Crash Bandicoot, I played through that again when they released the remastered version on PS4, and my son watched me play it, and it was an awesome experience to both be able to play that game and experience it together. But that's just all around having fun. So I think, but I think like with what Salsa was saying, in VR things have to be it has to be done well one way or the other. And I'm not saying that it has to be story or it has to be gameplay, but has to be some element that you can connect with in a way that is different. And it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but like there's specific things that games do right. But if they have to get that one thing right, or else you just don't have that connection to be able to play it in VR. And I'm not saying it has to be something. It could be gameplay.
It stands out more. And that's the thing, that once the connection's made, it stands out even more in VR.
Yeah. Well, see, like I've played games that had subpar gameplay and amazing stories and really enjoyed them. And I've played games that had no story and just amazing gameplay and enjoyed them just as much. I think that they just have to do one or the other. They have to do right.
Yeah. And if you get both, you've hit fucking gold.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The whole thing together, it's like, oh yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Crash Bandicoot, as you were saying, that's a perfect example. I knew Cortex, whatever his name was involved, but it was all about the gameplay for me.
Hit the boxes is all I cared about. Make sure you don't fall in the holes and hit all the boxes.
Get the apples. Get them lives.
Look, Van looks, like it's got something there that is going to be, It's got the I want to hit this jump right platform thing. It's like, I nailed it. You're going to be going through that, playing that game going, nailed it.
Yeah, that's what I liked about Crash. And I hope is that way with Ven, is that especially the time trial modes, trying to make your way through those levels and hitting every single box and hitting every apple in the right amount of time. That's just pure platformer. And that's just all about having fun.
I want that, dude. I really want that. When I look at that and I look at the animations of the characters and the levels and stuff, I'm thinking, this has got a chance to be an excellent platformer.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
likable characters. What was the one I wanted? There was a game, and I checked it out recently. I've been looking at it for years. It was made by the Banjo-Kazooie people. Oh, and it looks just like it. It sounds like it. Ukulele, I think it is. And I was a big fan, as I said, Banjo-Kazooie, all them types of games. And when I played it, dude, I was so uninterested. Like, I can't honestly describe how, like, I was like, I can't be bothered with this, honestly. I was gutted, man. I was so gutted because I've been looking at it, I was thinking, wow, you know, it's made by that team. And I'd rather just go back and play Banjo-Kazooie than play something that's trying to be what it isn't. So, but yeah, let's quickly jump on to Half-Life Alyx workshop mods. Who has either watched or checked out any of these in some form or shape? Because I did a video this week and it had PT in it, and it was absolutely amazing. I've now seen the future of Half-Life Alyx. Like, it is going to be non-stop.
Oh yeah, the mods
incredible.
are going to just, the mods will change everything, and you know, at some point somebody's going to do something with everything they've given for the mods that is going to blow our minds in ways that we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah,
because that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes with all Half-Life games in general. There has been something that's gone on with the mods past release with Half-Life's engines and what they allow, the freedom that they allow people to mod in this engine. It produces something special most times.
This early on,
How scary was the PT thing?
terrifying. I'll tell you what, that video, right, in general, it's not finished, by the way. It gets to a point, it just stops. And I think the point it stops to is, you did play PC back in the day, is when you looked through the wall and you got like the hole and you could see into the bathroom, and then it sort of transitions into loads of hides and stuff. It finishes there. But I think I messaged Matt today or yesterday, and he said to me, "Oh, I just watched that video." He was like, "How scary is it?" And I was like, "I don't talk." That video from a content provider's like where I should be at this level now of doing this nearly 3 years is a bad video, because I'm just scared. Like,
well, I was watching it and I knew that was the case, because I was sitting there thinking, man, GT's not saying a word. I mean, he must be terrified.
I was on my own. Like, I was doing it. I was thinking, I should just bloody live stream this, but it's like chickening out, because it's more. This is like, this is a crazy. There's so many things going on visually. It almost makes you want to feel like you're going insane, because it's the same corridor over and over and over and over, and the radio progressively gets crazy. And I edited this video as well. I edited at least 5 walks around that hallway, because it is like, watching the video, I'd personally get bored of that. You know, if it's a live stream and you're watching it live, maybe it's different, but it was just like you're going around and you're hearing the same radio chatter. And I was thinking, God, I'm going mad here. Like, nothing's happening. And then it, like, all of a sudden it says, "Don't touch that dial, we're just getting started." And it just like cuts into the radio, and you're like, fuck, what's going to happen? Do you know what I mean? I was absolutely crapping myself, honestly, playing that. And yeah, when I watched it back, I thought, I didn't even say anything. I was just cold and scared, and I was getting, like, in the video, I'm sure I was thinking, did I say I was scared? Did I say I was cold? Because I had goosebumps a couple of times, and I don't say anything. I'm just like, I think now and again you just want to hear me breathe, like, and that's about it.
Just creepy breathing randomly on your video.
But after PT, there was, I think it's Balamorsky or something. It's not Balamori, if anyone knows what it is. It's like, it's some sort of weird, scary station thing. That was excellently done. Really well done. You go around with a flare for most of it. Oh, it was fantastic. And Mindbreaker was epic. And I was thinking, wow, I remember a lot of people were sort of like on the fence about paying for Half-Life, because it was a full price game. There's not many games that come out at a traditional gaming price of, what are we looking at now, £50, £40-50, which
around that, yeah. If you are getting the index, I don't know if it's going to happen. They say it will, that they give you the game still for free, but I don't know if they actually refund you the price of the game if you've already got the game or not.
Are you on about buying a Valve Index or something?
Yeah, well, because I'm getting the Index, they're still saying that the game will come for free.
Right.
Yeah.
Either way, man, all I was saying was with the pricing thing, like, I don't know what value you put on this now. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. With the workshop thing.
I don't think you can't put any value on it.
You can't. You can't. It's going to continually add in value.
VR content, dude. Like, if people are ever sitting there going, oh, you know, I think Boy Brown, he first got into PC VR, and he said, what game should I get? And I was like, Saints of Sinners or Half-Life. Like, you might as well just go in at the best of the best at the moment, which is Half-Life. And with the workshop, I'm so glad he did it, because at the end of the day, he's got so many things to play now. So much content there. And when Counter-Strike hits it, you know.
Yeah. So. I'm really looking forward to the time once they start. I know there's people out there working on it, I'm sure. With the mods start really changing the look of the characters. So you get different enemy types, and you know they've already started to mod the weapons. So you got lightsabers and stuff. But what I'm really looking forward to is in like a year from now.
My favorite is the water pistols.
Yes, right. I love the water pistols. But when we've had it for like a year now, and people are releasing these experiences that could be paid games on their own, which you know is going to happen with totally new maps, brand new textures. Everything's totally changed just using the engine.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know. It's so many open doors there that I don't think anybody even understands what's going to happen in a year or two. Look what happened with Half-Life, the original source engine.
Yeah, like I went on the workshop because now obviously it's actually in the game. You just go in there, start a new game, select your add-on, boom, you're in. You subscribe to it like Pavlov, downloads. I couldn't believe the amount of stuff in there. Like I could spend a good 2-3 days, I think now, just going through content. But yeah, exciting times, man, all over again. I see some people talking about Resident Evil 7. I've just got to have a look at the chat. Some games are more blurry on a OG PS4 over a Pro, and I've said that because when I got the Pro, I noticed a difference straight away, and which is the reason I got the Pro. But Resident Evil 7, I think it's dark. He said he stopped playing Resident Evil 7 on PS4 because he really hoped it would come to PC VR. It would be a massive win for PC or for any platform because that game is superb.
Yeah, it's odd that it hasn't. I mean, it had a 1-year exclusivity with PlayStation, but Capcom, for whatever reason, just went and didn't.
I do wonder, right? Now, and it only come across in my head the other day. I want to say Dead Space, but it's not. What's the one by Fire Sprite?
Persistence.
The Persistence, right? So that's now on PC, and I got given a code, and the developer said, "Oh, let me know." Sometimes they just give you a code. No, don't ask me. He was like, "Let us know what you think." I played it for about 10 minutes, and I was like, "I am so disappointed in this because it was literally the PS version, and there's
just on that platform.
Yeah, there's no graphical options. You have to play it with a controller." And I was just like, this game's 2 years old. Like, this could have massively benefited from touch controllers, from the ability to actually move your hands and stuff. And
you do that takes it to that next level.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with no, go ahead.
You know, it does take that to that next level. I think you're 100% right on that it's still locked into a control, where you have better control methods on the PC side that they could engage with and pull that level up. I know, obviously, the primary thing is to actually have the flat version there.
Yeah.
And engage a lot of people on the flat screen.
It's on the Switch and stuff. Yeah, that's right. It's on every other platform.
Because that game is a good game. It's got a great value for money as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that is the reason I was actually quite cross, because I know how good the game is. Even with the 2-year-old, just DualShock, head aiming thing, and the arms are sort of stuck to your head.
Yeah.
It just works,
if they
though,
can transform that out,
dude, it would have been
that would be such a big win for them.
It would have been the Dead Space for me of VR. Sorry, Matt, you was going to say, man?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying that the other day, or about a week ago, I was talking with a developer of a horror game that's coming out, and that was one of the things that came up was Resident Evil, and the fact that it didn't get ported to PC, and it really could have benefited even more from having that touch controller tracking in that game,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because it would have made it. I mean, obviously, it's a great game. Again, I'm a wuss, so I never finished it. I played through part of it, but that level of immersion that comes with having the option to use touch controllers or whatever you've got for controllers that are tracked instead of just an actual physical PS4 controller or whatever, it's totally changes the way that you play the game. And that
Yeah.
was what we were talking about this game that they're working on, is that was important to them in creating a world that you can be immersed in. And that's a huge, I don't want to say upgrade, but a huge benefit to when you have a horror game specifically and you've got your hands there, because you can immerse yourself and get lost in it. If I'm playing a game that's a horror game with a controller, I can get scared, but I can remember that I'm not there most of the time because I've got a controller and I'm turning and I'm shooting with the controller. When you've got physical hands, you're grabbing your gun, or you fumble and you drop something and you've got to bend over and grab it. There's just something totally different about that.
Yeah, man. Like
Yeah.
reloading,
Yes,
it
right.
can be an art or a skill, or add panic or
Mhm.
relief. You know what I mean? Like, not being funny. Like, I'm still my Half-Life video is still going in the background. That's the problem. The bar's being raised all the time. Boneworks, Half-Life, Saints and Sinners, and that's the problem. Even now, like, I check out some indie games, and like we was going back to gameplay and stuff. Unless there's something gripping there, it then in a way you start noticing the lack of interaction of stuff and
Yep.
the lack of movement, and it's it must be quite hard for indie developers now when something like Half-Life comes out, because you'll be looking at that thinking,
Yeah.
shit, how come?
Yeah.
Good for us though, because what it does is it raises the bar on what they have to do, and I
Yeah.
think that's just good for VR altogether.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah,
But-
absolutely.
But at the same time, you also have that whole thing that for the early stages of VR, you've got a lot of indie developers, and it's still the case that most of VR has indie developers, and it is a new frontier.
Mm.
The rule books have not yet been made, so these guys are out here making the rule book, tearing up, making new rules that the bigger studios would not dare to do.
Yep.
But
the
at some
innovators.
point in the future, parts of that balance is going to maybe shift a bit, and we're going to see these indie developers, unfortunately, taking a back seat into some of that, where it just becomes a little bit too difficult for smaller studios to compete in the same way or the same space.
Yeah, I think that'll require people to be very creative in the way that they're doing what they're doing, and focusing on specific things that they're capable of doing and doing them really well. So
Yep.
maybe they can't do all the same mechanics, but they can tell a story that is gripping. Or maybe they can't tell the story the same way, but they can make a arcade style game that works really, really well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it, man. Like with Half-Life Alyx, it just had, when we talk about gold, like earlier we were talking about gold, it actually did tick a lot of boxes all at once. That was the problem for me personally. So yeah, I think for a lot of people, that's like the halo of Xbox, Half-Life Alyx, when they play it and they talk about it to others. When I describe it to people, it sounds quite unbelievable as a game. Funny enough, which, you know, like when I'm at work talking to people and you talk about Jeff, do you know what I mean? Like, Jeff sounds like something out of an absolute
Jeff.
nightmare. Do you know what I mean? He's not that bad when you meet him, really.
He's a lovely character, is Jeff. He's just misunderstood. He's very cuddly.
He smells rotten though, doesn't he? He smells like, you know.
Oh, well, we don't discuss that. You know, we don't discuss that. It's impolite.
Nice. Yeah. So if anyone's got anything in the chat you want to talk about or anything, let us know, because we're looking at wrapping up the show now, because I've gone through all my notes. Is there anything you guys want to talk about at all on the show? Anything you can think of currently?
There was
No.
a new game. Has it come out, or is it coming out for PSVR? Good Dog, Bad Dog? I'm not covering it at all. I don't even know if you knew about it.
Good
Have you
dog,
seen
bad
it?
dog. Do you remember the dog game on PlayStation where you could like chase the smells in different colours? Does anyone remember that?
No, I don't.
I remember that.
Oh my god! Wow, that's a wow. Yeah.
I remember a game that what was it? My son wanted to get it, and I didn't. It was called Cat Lateral Damage on the PSVR.
Cat lateral
PSVR.
damage.
Never
Yeah.
even heard of it.
Yeah, it was you play as a cat. I mean, it's weird, and it does, and your goal is to knock everything off the shelves and just to create havoc. It wasn't that great, but
My
it was.
God, yeah. I don't know if that comes
Yeah.
to Europe actually.
So it's like Goat Simulator
Yeah, kind of, but it's more of like a.
with a cat.
Yeah, it's not great. Let me put it that way.
It just sounds like a typical, very early VR
Yeah.
game, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's really what it was. Yeah, the moving around was weird and it was kind of odd, but my son had fun messing around with it.
Yeah, I can't remember if that ever came to the EU actually or our region, but I do kind of remember
No, I don't
something.
think it did.
I do kind of remember something about that. Do you think Medal of Honor will be in the upload VR? I do think you'll see some more from that. There was a list of games we went through last week. Unfortunately, I've deleted my list now. Salsa, you wanted to talk about Quest users on Steam.
Well, just that it's moved up a good amount. I mean, you don't normally see a great fluctuation in movement on Steam when it comes to certain things. So when something goes up by 1.5% usage in the VR headsets, that's seen as actually quite a significant move.
Right.
And the 1.5% movement has happened, or over 1.5% movement has happened for Steam VR users using the Quest to play.
Do you think
That
that's because the stock
means-
suddenly come back?
Yeah, I've
Huh?
seen like Matt's one of them on his Twitter page. He's always posting about when they're in stock and when they're not in stock. So and
Yeah.
I see that from a number of people. So they're coming back. Is that like locally as well, Matt? Do you see them back in stores or anything like that? I'm guessing.
I haven't seen any locally. Amazon got them back in the other day, but I'm pretty sure I'm checking right now. I think that they were still in stock on the Oculus website last I checked. They're just in stock now.
Wow, that's awesome. Does your
Yeah, so-
Amazon do the monthly installments?
No, you can do credit, but it's different for us over here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. if
But
any of
yeah,
you
so
play-
it is one of those things when you see movement for a headset and it goes in percentage of the overall community, it can be quite a significant thing because although because it's opt-in information that we're talking here, it's not straight up generated. It is opt-in information, which means somebody has to say, yeah, okay, that's fine, we agree. It can be more significant or not, but it's always interesting to see what happens with that.
Boy Brown said the last free pistol whip. Is it the last one? I didn't know it was the last one.
It's the last
Pistol Whip-
free one, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
right.
a free one.
Yeah, that's been
last free
delayed.
one before the PSVR gets.
Cool. That's apparently been delayed. Where are we? Half-Life Alyx is sitting in the top of the Metacritic charts of all PC games for 2020.
Yeah, of all time, basically.
Yeah, that's crazy. Limitless Gaming says, have you seen that rhythm game on Sidequest? I jumped into Sidequest today, actually, and checked out a couple of things. Nothing I want to talk about, I don't think, yet. Called Move On Up or something similar. I have not heard of that. Let me know if it's any good.
Let me go. What do you guys think about this? But I love SideQuest. I think there's some great stuff on it. But I feel like lately there's been an influx of junk.
I was going to
just
say
stuff
trash, but
that's-
yeah,
Not even
junk, yeah.
anywhere near there.
Yeah. So I mean, I love SideQuest. Don't get me wrong, and I think it's a great option to have. There's some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
But I go on there probably every other day just to check and see if there's anything there. And the vast majority of it is just stuff that I have no interest in looking at all.
I think
So-
the stuff that's going on there is just really, really, really early. They're
Yeah.
like pre
too raw.
alpha, and I'm like,
Yeah,
you
too
put me
raw.
off already that I don't even want to come back to it. It's too early.
Terminus was probably the biggest disappointment for me because when I first played it in alpha, I thought it was brilliant. I was like, this is going to be quality. And then next time I played it, they've obviously, and fair play to them, they've gone in and gone, right, we're going to add this story to it. We're going to add like a train journey. And it must sound amazing to sit there like doing a storyboard going, this is epic.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was playing it and I was like, what's happened? Like, what why is this happening now? And then you know, the fighting was a little bit off, and in the end I didn't make a video, and I messaged them and just said, look, it's not where I thought it would be at the moment. I'll check it out later on. And you could tell they were really disappointed. And I was disappointed. I was it must be hard, like, to go, we've made this better, and I'm like, no, you haven't.
I did a video on it, and then that whole train sequence, I was like, I cut out like 99% of it. I was like, there's nothing interesting going on, really.
It was
Apart from seeing
weird.
some explosions.
The issue I had with it mostly was like, well, not mostly, but one of the issues I had with it was the locomotion was just kind of weird, and it wasn't clear when to get off the train either. Like, they kept stopping and the door would open.
Yeah, I said that. The door's open. I'm like, well, I'm off. No, I'm not. Oh, okay, I'll have to stay on then. And it was like, and was it like 2 stops or something? You just
There's a couple going on. Yeah,
it was
with nothing going on. Like, there's nothing to interact with because later on it's got the mobile phone thing where it's got storyline and stuff like that.
Oh, mate, that killed me. That was the mobile phone was actually really quite well used,
implemented
in the alpha.
Yeah.
And the next time I played it, I was just like, but I can't do anything here. It's just like all over the place, and I don't know what it's like now. I don't know if you guys. I'm sure they've brought out another version.
I've not played it for a while.
Yeah, I haven't played it for a while either.
Yeah.
I think I'll be like with you, waiting for it to get a further update, maybe.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I actually got some motion sickness from that, and I don't usually from a lot of things, but I did for that one for some reason. I don't know what it was about the locomotion.
There's a skiing game. I can't remember the name of it on Sidequest.
Yeah.
I saw a video on it.
or something.
Something like and there was people saying, I don't get VR sickness, but this has done me. Like, this has made me feel. I had to take off the headset straight away. I got that because a lot of people get VR sickness mention heat. They get hot first. They feel like a hot flush.
Like a flush.
Yeah, and then they're like, if I don't get out now, I'm going to be done all day, like, kind of thing. And I thought, oh, I got to try that because I do want to get VR sickness in a way because I don't get it very often. Oh, that sounds weird. So yeah, I thought this sounds the game. I didn't get anything from it, and actually, I quite enjoyed the game. I only done a bit of the training, so I'm going to dive into a little bit more before I make a video because I want to make sure there's some extra quality there, because otherwise, it's like Dane was saying a little bit. It's just a case of there isn't a skiing game. Let's do someone skiing. And that could be it. So it's not necessarily a reason to invest in anything. But yeah, I'm going to check more of that out. The other one I tried was a drone flying game. It's called like, oh god, that was a bit broken. And I'm looking for a bloody drone game. I think that'd be so good in VR, like a real, like drone racing or something.
Yeah, I see the RC side of stuff like that has always been kind of like a specialist thing as well. And I tried to do like an RC car game earlier, but the controls weren't working right. And I'm trying to get back in contact with the developer. I need to email them back and say, hey, it's not working. But in general, anything to do with flying and RC style flying, like drone physics, ends up really expensive.
Yeah. So, Scott, you just said the best thing on SideQuest is Doom. That's what he reckons. See, I actually disagree. I wasn't actually that amazed by Doom. I don't know, but that's because I've played it. I thought it was good, but I've played it in VR chat. I've played it in VFR. I was just like, and I've played Doom a lot. And I was just like,
you've been there, done that.
A little bit, yeah. And I was just a bit like, I'm not wowed by this enough to make a video on it. That's for sure.
Did you try Cactus Cowboy Portal?
That sounds completely interesting.
It's like a portal, kind of game, and it's actually pretty cool. It's a little weird, and there's some weird stuff going on, but you essentially get 2 pistols, and they create portals, and you have to solve puzzles like you would in Portal.
I love Portal. I love that game.
Boyd Brown has mentioned one of our favourites, which is Hyperdash.
Yeah, so I'd say Hyperdash is actually the gold of SideQuest at the moment. I still think that is up there.
To the top.
To the top, yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like, when I played Hyperdash, I was like, Jesus, this is better than most actual games.
Yeah, it's pretty much ready for release, isn't it? That's what it feels like.
It was amazing. And, and To the Top, obviously, it is a real game. Like, and it's got great music, great quality. I think when it comes to, like, to say, for example, when you're talking about actually a flat game going to VR on Sidequest, I still think Half-Life for me was more of a wow moment than Doom. And Fabster, yeah, I've actually just updated my T for God, dude. I can't wait to jump back into that because that game is amazing in room scale.
There's an update, is there?
Yeah, it's actually had quite a few from the last time I played it. I'm not saying it's actually made any difference because the first time it was pretty phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I haven't. That's one game I've done very little of because I didn't have the space. Like I tried playing it in my space, I tripped over my light. I almost
wife
knocked
hates
over
it.
a pile of
I
decorations.
broke my leg.
I have to,
Yeah,
move, I have to move like the washing out of the way. I have to move all the stuff no one sees on camera that is in my room. Just junk in general. When you go to like T for God, you're like, it's either you're probably gonna walk into it or walk over it and stuff and break it.
I want to
So,
go
yeah.
in a warehouse and just play that.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That'd
Definitely.
be awesome. Like Space Pirate Arena. Oh,
Yeah. I can't wait to try that out in a warehouse.
that'd be so bloody cool. That'd be so
Have
good.
you played other large-scale VR?
I've done. I can't remember what it's called.
I did location based with Arizona.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I haven't done any location based. There was another game that I did that was like a early release alpha type thing that wasn't on SideQuest that someone sent me, and it worked well. But again, I didn't have the space to really play around with it.
Right, yeah, I wouldn't know what that is. Dark, if I had a Quest and I let VR virgins try it, I would explain. It's just a taste of what VR is like, but for a premium, yeah, I think graphically you're onto something there, and also with the software as well. I think you're right. I think PCVR has the big titles that show it off
Yep.
the best, but that tetherless thing is like T
There's
for
a
God.
magic there.
Yeah, T for God looks not great.
Yeah.
But it looks like 3D polygon VR, and there's still an amazing moment of when you're walking around your room and you like walk into like a lift, or like there's that weird bit where you look for a doorway which hasn't got a back to it, but it's another world, and you're like, how the hell, man? In VR, it's amazing.
Messes with
Yeah.
your brain, but you kind of work with it and go with it, and you
Yeah.
walk around these spaces and go, okay, and try to shuffle through and round the different parts depending on sizes of things, and then it opens up into bigger spaces but closes down the track and makes
feel like you've
go
been
around
walking
the way.
for ages, and you're thinking, I must be somewhere in my garden by now.
Yeah,
And then you realize you're like, I'm still in the same space. How has it done this?
Mm-hmm.
I
Very
can't
clever.
wait. I can't wait to jump back into that. Right, guys, I'm gonna have to go because I've got work tonight. But
Yeah.
thank you ever so much to Salsa from Salsa Ketchup VR,
Great as always.
from Get to the Chopper, from Dane from Get to the Chopper VR.
Wicked to be here again. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man. And Matt from BMF, man. Make sure you check out all these guys as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. It's great just to be able to actually talk about VR instead of sitting there typing about it.
Yes.
It's quite refreshing.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to JD for becoming a channel member. Thank you to everyone who donated today. Thank you for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your likes. Thank you especially for commenting and being part of the show each and every week, each and every Sunday. So yeah, hopefully we're going to roll on as we go on with the VR link. We're going to basically have a number of different guests join us at different times. Salsa at some point will have to move house, so I'm assuming we're going to have some, you know.
Yeah, there may be a small break. We'll see which happens there.
Yeah.
What transpires, but hopefully it'll go all smoothly. It won't be too long.
Yeah, so
When
yeah,
that
at the end of the day, we're going to have there's a whole list of people now who are looking forward to jumping in. So yeah, it should be good. Thank you ever so much, guys. Enjoy your week. Hopefully all of us will see you at some point. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye.
Ciao.
Bye.